Hi, everybody. This is WWE superstar Jerry the King Lawler, and this is the Kings Podcast on theDugoutSportsShow.com.
And welcome to the return of the Kings Podcast right here on DugoutSportsShow.com, episode number 6. And with the Browns, in the middle of a bye week, and with a 2-2 record, and Indian season over and the playoffs heating up, and with the big news of the walkout at Monday Night Raw, I want to welcome Jerry the King Lawler, a huge Cleveland sports fan, and the man who unintentionally led the walkout on Monday Night Raw. Jerry, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, Glenn. Yeah, it sounds like a lot to talk about today, huh?
Yeah,
a lot of things going on.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Indians season came to an end. They were in first place for most of the year, overtaken by the Tigers, and what a roller coaster ride. We were on such a high to start the year, best record in Major League Baseball for the first few months, and then it came all crashing down. But you got to be looking forward to next year.
Well, it seems like Indian fans are always looking forward to next year, aren't we? It's just that, that's all we have to look forward to is next year, every year at the end of the season. This year was a little different. Yeah, I tell most people that I have a lot of people in the WWE that wonder why I'm an Indians fan. I think I'm the only Cleveland sports fan in the WWE. Oh, no, other than the Miz.
Yeah, the Miz.
But then I tell them that at least this year it was such an enjoyable season, and it stayed good, and you could be into it all the way up to the start of football, which ordinarily we don't have that luxury. So but the Indians, I really like their team. I really like the looks of things, and this year truly, I'm not saying wait till next year. I'm truly saying I can't wait till next year. It's going to be, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I just think that, unfortunately, there were just a lot of injuries that happened to hit at very inopportune time. I mean, these guys were legit contenders, like you said, best record in baseball for a long time, then led their division for a long time until the injuries started to mount up, and I was really pleased with the comeback, so to speak, of my buddy Travis Hafner. I think that he came back and looked really good. Gosh, so many new guys coming up that there for a while it looked like we were like the Detroit Tigers playing the Columbus Clippers or something like that. In some of the games it was just but it was really good to see some of these young guys get a chance to come up and show what they had, and there was so many of them that I was really, really pleased with. So I really think that next year will be a lot of fun. We just got to somehow avoid that injury bug.
Yeah, Asdrubal Cabrera has the first thing come to mind, MVP type of year, and the Indians are not in the place where they were beginning the season without Asdrubal Cabrera. Well,
there's a guy that's been so much fun to watch his progression. He's just amazing. The guy is just amazing, and I think that I just think he's going to get better year in and year out. And like you said, barring any injuries, he could be he's definitely MVP quality talent.
Yeah, definitely. So Indians next year, and off season could be very eventful for the Indians, making some signings or some trades and to improve this ball club. And the Dolans have said they're going to increase the payroll, so we'll see what happens. And the playoffs are starting, and you being an Indians fan, Jerry, I'm sure you're happy the Yankees are out of the playoffs and overtaken by the Tigers in that first round.
No, just the opposite, Glenn. Absolutely just the opposite. I was sitting there pulling for the Yankees.
Really?
Yes. Because it was just like, after sitting and watching the Detroit Tigers sweep the Indians in those important series, and just there's no mercy in us not being able to do anything with them, man. I got to where I despised the Tigers by the end of the season. So I didn't want to. And it's just like, I got nothing against Johnny Peralta or Victor Martinez personally, but it's just like, here's our ex-Indians out there, after every one of those series celebrating on the Cleveland field and all that kind of stuff. I just got down on the Tigers, and I did not want them to beat the Yankees. And I'm personal friends with CC Sabathia still. I just, wanted to see him do well. But no, I would have rather seen the Yankees move on, and then maybe, face. I was really hoping to see him face Tampa Bay, but now it's going to be Texas. But I'm definitely going to be pulling for Texas now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean that was my case. I'm been a hatred of the Yankees since the day I was born, and I know the Tigers overtook us, but I've set that aside and just have New York out of playoff baseball because everybody is so biased with New York. It makes me sick. So, but as soon as the Tigers won, I became a Rangers fan. Now I'm pulling for the Rangers to take care of the Tigers. But I'm surprised, Jerry, the Yankees, rooting for the Yankees.
Well, I guess sometimes it's not. I didn't. Sometimes when you get to know somebody and they become sort of personal friends, as was the case with CC Sabathia. When CC was in Cleveland, I got to know the guy. He's a big WWE fan. He would come to the shows and call me and ask for tickets and get him backstage with his kids and so many times he came to shows and just was a really good guy, and we became friends. And I sent them a championship belt the year they won it all up there. I sent them a WWE championship belt that they use as sort of like an award for player of the game every night when Johnny Damon was there and all of that. And so I don't have ill feelings towards them. I mean, they weren't in our division, so I just didn't have a problem with them. And then when Detroit came along and just crept up and then just started winning all those games against us, oh my goodness! I just wanted to see anybody put them out. Oh, and to talk about somebody that I just wanted to go out on the field and give a pile driver to myself personally, that Valverde. Oh man. What is he now? 51 or 52 for 52 saves?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I would like to give him a pile driver so hard that he'd have to unzip his pants to brush his teeth the next morning.
Yeah, he's a character on the field, man. He has probably one of the best beer bellies in all of baseball, though. His belly literally hangs over his belt, and he's not a huge guy, but man, that beer belly. Somehow he just kept getting it done. Yeah.
Especially against the Indians. So, anyway, I'm not. Throughout the season, no, I'm certainly not a Yankees fan. I'm an Indians all the way. But then, whenever there's a guy or two, that you know on the team, you just sort of have to kind of pull for those guys.
Yeah. National League side, really quick. You got Cardinals and Brewers, a Midwest clash there. Phillies. I guess you can buy all the pitching you want, but it's not going to get you anywhere. I'm surprised to see the Cardinals beat the Phillies, and you have Cardinals Brewers, and I'm pulling for the Brewers. I don't know about you.
No, I'm definitely pulling for the Brewers. I was pulling for the Phillies in that simply because of the old, the Cleveland connection there with Charlie Manuel. There, you won't find a nicer guy, a better guy to know. And once again, another huge WWE wrestling fan, Charlie Manuel, just such a great guy. And then of course with Cliff Lee there, I was pulling for the Phillies all the way there. But and shocked. But you talk about pitching. I mean, it did come down to pitching. It was the pitching of the Cardinals that won that series. It was amazing. I mean, I watched watching that game last night. That Carpenter was just unbelievable. I mean, it was like what a matchup to see. What a matchup that would be now to see Carpenter go against Verlander or something. I mean, some of these guys are just lights out this year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm pulling for the Brewers. You are too, and hoping for a Brewers Rangers World Series. And I know that's not going to.
Boy, that would be a ratings disaster for Major League Baseball.
In their words, but I would love it. I'd love to see the little guy, make it all the way, and a true champion.
Yeah, I like that. I would like that as well. But trust me, the powers that be, the television people, they'd be wanting to commit suicide if you have the
Yeah, they
Milwaukee Brewers against the Texas Rangers in the World Series. Oh,
yeah, they wanted Yankees Phillies. That'll probably be their ideal World Series. For
of
them.
course, that's what they were praying for.
All right, so we'll talk World Series when it comes, but I'm going to move on to Browns football. 2-2. You're a huge Browns fan. They could easily be at least 3-1 this year, if not for a few plays. Going to the bye week, there's a lot of whispers about Peyton Hillis. Well, not whispers, but a lot of talk about Peyton Hillis and his contract situation. He's only getting paid $600,000. Well, only is to football standards, that's a low price, but he's produced for less than a full season. He's shown what he can do, and he wants to get paid. He wants to get paid $3, $4, $5 million a year. Jerry, you seen him play? Is he worth that kind of money given to him? Should we give all the money to him now after less than a full year of showing us what he can do?
Well, it's sort of like these guys, the owners, I guess, have already basically shot themselves in the foot when they go out and pay these huge bonuses and give these huge salaries to top round draft picks. I mean, they pay these enormous salaries to guys who have never even stepped on an NFL field when they come out of college. But Peyton Hillis does have one, I think, pretty amazing season under his belt. I mean, how long does a guy have to go and prove himself until he makes a believer out of you? Of course, this year, the second season already, I think that things are certainly looking a little different. But I think it's because of the situation.
Yeah.
They're throwing Hardesty in there a lot more. I think that a lot of it has to do with the with the money talks that are going on right now. I think that's they're intentionally probably not giving Peyton the touches that he needs to rack up the yards. And man, it's just this is one of those sad situations where when you're a fan, all of a sudden the business side of the sport rears its ugly head and affects what's going on the field, and that's unfortunately that's just the way of the world of sports nowadays. We see it in the WWE. We see it in baseball, basketball. I mean, look at basketball. I'm predicting they won't have a season. This is just the way of the world. It's all about money nowadays, and it's sad for the fans. But from a fan standpoint, as far as I'm concerned, I like Peyton Hillis. I love to watch the young guy play. I think he's probably worth what he's asking if you could break it down on a year-to-year basis. I just hate to see these guys get signed to these long-term guaranteed contracts where then he could go out the next game and get injured and blow a knee out or something, and then then you're stuck with paying this guy forever, and he's not even contributing. So I don't know that much about that side of who wants what and all the negotiations, but I personally like Peyton Hillis. I think he's great for the Cleveland Browns in the sense that he's just he seems like a young, hard-working, blue-collar type guy, just like the city of Cleveland is.
Yeah.
I think the kid's a winner. I would hate to see him go somewhere else and come back and be playing against the Browns.
So, and there's a movement in Cleveland called Pay the Beast, and fans love to call Peyton Hillis the Beast. So we can add Jerry the King Lawler to that movement of supporting the Pay the Beast, huh?
Oh. I say pay the beast, just not too much.
Perfect. That sums it up right there. Just not too much. Final question for the Browns. 2-2. Are you happy with what you've seen? The offense seems to be struggling as of late, but the defense has been playing very well. What's your overall take of what you've seen so far with the Browns?
No, I've not been happy at all, really. And this is coming from someone who's watched every single play, every single snap. And it's just I guess I got my hopes up too high, before the season started. I really was, when I looked at the schedule, I predicted it would be 2-2 at this point, but it was like I thought we'd lose to the teams that we beat and beat the teams that we lost to. I don't know. It's just I don't know.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. It is really is frustrating. Colt McCoy not throwing the ball down the field. Colt McCoy he's, for all the expectations so far, he's just kind of appeared pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen not the flashes of brilliance. I hear so much talk about our wide receivers. I don't know. I don't know if you can tell how good they are if you don't throw to them, or are they not getting open? Is that why he's not throwing to them? It's just, it's so many things that go on behind the scenes that the fans don't realize what the reason for all of these problems are. But to me, it's just been like even the game, the game they won against, where they won right at the end.
Against I think it was Miami.
Yeah, Miami. What a no fun game to watch. It's like they played so poorly, and you're sitting there thinking, I can't believe they're losing, and they were losing right up to the end. It was not an enjoyable game, and then of course, they did. They won right at the end, and that makes you happy. But all of the Tennessee game, what a miserable game that was to watch, and especially me living down here in Tennessee.
Oh, you probably had to hear about that.
I was hoping the Browns could just somehow blow those guys out of the water, because down here in Memphis everybody's wear all the Tennessee gear and the Tennessee Titans this and Tennessee Titans that, and I said, I was just telling everybody, wait till they go to Cleveland.
Oh,
see what that's like. Oh yeah. So I had to eat my words there, eat crow. But anyway.
All right.
I just hope that they can. I hope that they can just. If they could just improve a little bit every week, but it seemed like last week was a major setback, I thought, from what they had done so far. The Cincinnati game, they definitely should have won that. That was just that fluke crazy play. I've never seen anything like that, where the offense comes up to the line and the defense is in the huddle and the offense runs a play and scores a touchdown.
Yeah, Browns weren't ready.
No, but that's inexcusable. But to me, somehow that goes to coaching. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Jerry, we'll talk more Browns on an upcoming podcast. But you've been a busy man last few weeks in the world of wrestling. You came here to Cleveland. You always love coming to Cleveland and broadcasting Raw live from Quicken Loans Arena. And you get put through a table. And people say you're going to the hospital, but I guess you did or you didn't. So there's a lot of people say you went to the hospital, you were hurt, you weren't on a Raw. As Michael Cole said, anal bleeding. You come back past Monday. You unintentionally lead to walkout. You've been a busy man in the world of wrestling and WWE, and I got to get your opinion on it. First of all, it can't be too much of a pleasure getting put through a table by the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
No, anytime you got a 400-pound guy slamming you through a table, it is not a pleasant experience. And that's one of the things that I was talking about when to Triple H when the walkout occurred. Things are happening on Raw that are getting a little out of control. And of course, hey, let's face it. Just like I said, Raw has always been a volatile place. That's to be expected.
Yeah.
But as of late, it just seems like that somebody is definitely trying to undermine the ability of Triple H to run the show, Monday Night Raw, and all these kind of crazy things are happening. There's really no reason that one of the announcers, poor good old JR, is in the ring to interview somebody, and next thing you know, he's getting choked out by the world's strongest man. I go in to try to reason with the guy, which was obviously a mistake. It's like, it's like those two guys that went hiking over in Iraq or Iran or whatever. If you're that dumb, you should expect something bad to happen. So I guess when you go in the ring and try to reason with the world's strongest man who's already choking out your broadcast partner, you should expect something bad to happen. But then to get put through the table, it's just kind of, like I said, for lack of better words, it's out of control. So then when I went out the following week there to express my opinion to Triple H, trust me, I had no clue that all of those guys were gonna walk out behind me. And in hindsight, if I had have thought that would happen, I would have never gone out there. I would have never said what I said, because there had already been some of the guys expressing their displeasure, and I wasn't out there to jump on the bandwagon or anything. I was just going to tell Triple H how I felt personally. And then next thing you know, man, all the superstars, all the divas, all the referees, even the cameramen, the announcers, everybody walks off the show and leaves Triple H standing there in the ring by himself. And gosh, it's created such a firestorm of controversy. My phone's been ringing off the hook. WWE's calling me, wanting me to put explanations up on the website WWE.com, and they got me up on YouTube and all of this kind of stuff and that's where I said, hey, I have no problem with Triple H as the COO. I just have a problem with what's taking place, because somebody doesn't want him running Monday Night Raw.
And the week before that, you're sitting at home. You weren't part of the broadcast team. I think it was for the pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, and there was an update. Jerry's doing all right, but he's suffering anal bleeding from.
No, that's an idiot. That idiot Michael Cole. He just, he's just. That was just something he threw in there because he thought he was being a wise guy. I sent word to him via Facebook and via the website as well that when I get back around him, he's going to suffer some oral bleeding. And plus, here's a guy who knows a lot about anal conditions, because I said his proctologist called and told him, said he found his head.
Yeah, I saw that was posted on your Twitter account. I saw your posted on your Twitter. All right, so the question everybody wants to know is, I know you probably don't know what happens. What happens on Monday night? I mean, the longest running episodic on a TV show, I think it is, for being every week, every Monday night. I mean, is that going to be in trouble this week? Coming up on Monday.
I'm sure there's still going to be a show, because, as you know, everybody didn't walk out. John Cena was not out there among the crowd. Randy Orton was not among that group. Sheamus was not among that group. So I guess that there's still going to be a show. The show is going to take place in Oklahoma City, the hometown of good old JR.
Yeah.
So JR will definitely be there. I'll probably go ahead and fly to Oklahoma City and just be there just in case something changes, and we'll go from there and see what happens. But it was definitely a cliffhanger at the end of the show, unintended on my part. But now all of a sudden I'm just like everybody else. I'm wondering what's going to happen this coming Monday night myself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we saw the camera guys set the cameras on the ring and even they walk out, I mean, it's and good old JR. He sticks with everything. He's die hard, and I was really surprised to see JR walk out. But Monday night, anything can happen, and then like you said, the cliffhanger to end the show. I'm sure everybody will be tuning in. All right, Jerry. There's a DVD that came out. I want to promote this for you. Memphis Heat. There's a DVD, and you were a super heel back in the day, and you're a part of the DVD. I just want to give a little promotion about it. And Memphis-Heat.com is where you can buy the DVD, and just wanted you to talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah, it's available right now at if you go to www.memphis-heat.com. It's a great docu-movie about the history of Memphis wrestling, and back in the day, I mean, literally going all the way back. It doesn't just start with my career or anything. It goes back to the 50s when Memphis was drawing some of the biggest crowds on a weekly basis all around of any place all around the country, and we continued that tradition in Memphis wrestling, where it was a hotbed of wrestling for all the way up to the 2000s, and so they finally put together this docu-movie, so to speak, that it just chronicles the long-running history of one of the top-rated wrestling television shows in history, and then of course just the all of the characters and all the superstars that started in Memphis wrestling or came through Memphis wrestling. You'd be so surprised at how many, almost all the eventual WWE superstars were in Memphis wrestling at one time. So it's just it's a really interesting, informative, and funny and fun movie and documentary, so to speak, to watch. And like I say, it's going to be available on Amazon just in the upcoming weeks. But right now, if you want to go ahead and get and order it right away, it's at that Memphis-Heat.com.
All right, Joey, we'll wrap it up with that. Look forward to watching Monday. Hopefully you'll be on TV. But till then, hopefully we can start this back up again with the Brown season underway. It was really nice talking to you. And anything you want to say to wrap up the Kings podcast?
Well, let's just go Browns this week. I mean, go Browns and go Raw. Get back on the air and let's get things back to normal.
Yeah, definitely. All right, thanks, Jerry.
Okay, thanks, man.